All right, guys, here we are for Season 2, Episode 6 of Pushing Daisies.
Yeah, dog.
All right, so what did you think about this episode?
I did not hate this episode. This was cool.
I did not hate it myself.
Okay. Did you like it?
I didn't dislike it.
Okay.
All right, so where do we open?
Oh God, do you want to open?
Well,
in more flashbacks of like Matt. So like this is the forgive me for maybe they've never showed it before, but I did not realize there was anything with magic and Ned's father. Is that me missing it? Or is that a
can't
thing?
remember. I was trying to think about
Yeah.
when we've seen that scene from a distance where he gives him the candy bar, then he sees the two boys and the thing. And I think when I first saw it, I thought those two boys were just more trick or treaters or something. Or I don't know if I connected the two and two or if they said it out loud.
Sure.
I'm kind of near you. Who's to say?
Kind of a caveman. I'm not sure if I noticed it.
I don't know if that table, if I saw magic happening on that table,
Yeah, exactly.
or if there was ever anything phrased. This might be a new thing for them.
Yeah, they might have injected this, but that's not the end of the world.
But I thought it worked.
When we saw those, and I'm calling them twins. I assume that they're twins. The actors are may or may not be twins. I don't know what's going on.
I think they are.
I'm gonna call them the twins though.
Yeah,
I
that's
forget
fair.
their stupid names. When they were like
Horatio and Magellan or some stupid shit.
Balthazar and Melchior. When they were doing magic, like I'm in this trunk and I'm in that trunk. Haha, we're twins. I was like, oh my God. And then I may have said out loud 1 or 2 episodes ago, and they're magicians or something, I guess, or whatever. And now this is like the culmination or like the payoff of all of that, where we see that like Ned's father abandoned those twins by using a magician to help him, and they latched onto that magician and like imprinted on him, and like them being magicians is super tied into the history of Ned and the family and the father and whatever the hell's going on.
As is the theme of this show, everything always has a direct correlation and a deep-seated tie-in.
Exactly. I was really hoping like, oh, he meets his half brothers and they're magicians. Why? Ugh. Like it's like her being a jockey or this being a that or him. Like I was like, oh, it's more like it's zany or whatever. But actually, they like wove it into the whole history of the whole thing. And I like that. A lot of the plot development and character stuff happened like during the case or whatever here, which is something that I distilled from our shared complaints about other episodes. So it was all sort of happening, right? And all the other stuff was being driven by Stephen Root's, like, I used to know your father, and, like, him pushing along the plot there. So there was no, like, rooftop, like, I guess the episode's over and it's time to talk, right? It was all sort of built in to me, and, like, I like when that happens more than not.
No, yeah, that did happen. So, like, my biggest issues with this episode was, like, there's things with, like, him being in blocks of concrete and they're moving around somehow, and I'm like, how did that work?
How did you put the other block up? Like, taking the one block down makes perfect sense, but how did you sneak the other block into the cube or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes.
So, like, when they eventually revealed that it slides from the trapdoor directly into the basement thing, I'm like, okay. But before they explained that, I'm like, and how the fuck did he do that? Like, he had to dig this perfect hole and then drop that thing in there. I'm like, that must weigh, like, I don't know, 1,000 pounds? Like, like super unlikely, and there's not, like, any carrying device in there, so that doesn't make sense. But, yes, how did they get it up through the floor?
Yeah. Getting it down makes perfect sense the whole time, but up is the whole situation.
Down and into the hole until you saw the slide, though, because you'd have to carry it and move it, and like it is exactly the right size, so you couldn't just push it, like And even the way they showed it fall into the thing, it looked like it fell sideways, so like the handkerchief wouldn't be upright. So I was like, it looked like it dropped down.
Oh, like when they show it doing it,
Went,
And then the way it really is, or like later on or whatever, with his face like hi.
And that's fucking like his face and hands popping out. It's so outlandish, so good.
Okay, I was gonna say like a lot of this is pure outlandishness or whatever, right?
As is the pie maker in his ventures.
So like again, like if we look at last episode with like the Chinese dim sum restaurant poker thing, now we have this whole other zany world of like magicians. And like honestly, Fred Willard as the great Herman or whatever, his assistant is a woman whose name I don't know, but I probably should, from like Reno 911. And Viva Variety and all that. She's an accomplished comedian or whatever.
She did not ring a bell with me, but I'll take your word.
She doesn't look the way she usually does here. She has short hair usually, and she wasn't acting the same or whatever.
Who is she on Reno 911?
Dangle, I think, whatever.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
Okay, I'd have to rewatch it with that in mind.
I haven't watched a lot of Reno 911, but I love that troupe of people, and I watched a lot of Viva Variety, which no one else remembers except for me, so I feel really weird there. But no, and like I think the geek guy / like the third guy down was even somebody too, but I
Yes,
couldn't
he's a
place him.
comedian.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Yeah,
so
him
I
I
was
know.
like, yeah, so like really good like people cameo, like really solid because they have all the normal solid people. Stephen Root over here, and then those three magician people over there, and I was like,
no,
yeah,
it rounded out beautifully.
every scene's popping for me, right? with
Emerson
something.
constantly not knowing what a geek
Oh.
was pretty funny for me.
When he so like to cut to the end when that geek guy has Olive hostage and he goes, "Hey nerd, you need to take a larger human shield. I can shoot you all kinds of places." And was
Yeah.
doing all. I'm like, "Oh God, this is awesome. This is wonderful."
I was hoping that guy was going to do something with. He says, "I swallowed a pearl-handled gun earlier. I could shoot you through my mouth." I was like, I would love to see that
if that
happen.
actually happens. Yeah.
Because
But they call him
how
on
the
it.
fuck would
Yeah.
that happen?
I'm cocking it now with my stomach muscles, and he's like, "Shut up! You're not doing any of that stuff."
I
And
hear
I'm
it ticking.
Yeah.
It could be his watch.
like, no, it's his watch.
But like that's the kind of thing that shows it's not out of the realm of possibility for the show to do something
Yes.
like that. So I was like, of course he's cocking a gun in his
Of
stomach.
course, he's got a gun. He's gonna shoot out
He'll
of his
fire
mouth.
right through his own teeth. It'll be perfect.
It'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
But to get from here to there, right? There's a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the case, or if you have something
So
else?
the case itself was
Yeah.
was like very standard. You
Yeah.
know, that you kind of realize pretty early on that he's actually going to be the victim, and it's not that they're killing his pets.
Yes.
I thought like the levels of like brutal honesty about like relationships and life here was like a nice little punch in the feels for these guys.
I'm glad to hear you mention that.
I really want to know what the dad's deal is, I wonder if we ever find out before the show is canceled.
Oh God, you're right. We have to go find some weird post on the internet, maybe.
Yeah.
Some tweet. Yeah, because you simultaneously find out through Stephen Root's like plot line. I forget his name on the show. I'm sorry.
I also forget.
I just have to call him the actor's name. But his whole thing of like revealing to the aunts like about the history with the father. It's like
and how he's been in jail for this long.
Well, and like were you the good guys or the bad guys? It's like a little bit of both. And so they have this weird history, and he's looking for this watch that guy had. This whole
they were
that Chuck has
profiteers
now.
during a war,
right?
So you're like, okay, what kind of
Like
shady
some
shit were they up to?
Crazy. So like
So
the whole thing.
so Ned's dad leaving, like could make sense in certain way. Like okay, I literally couldn't bring the kids with me because someone's trying to kill me, and I had to get the fuck away. I didn't want you in danger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that makes sense a little bit. But if you're like this crazy spy dude, couldn't you send a letter some way or let them know something?
That's the sad part, right? Is like, wait, but that doesn't explain all of the behavior, right? Just like the need to leave or something.
Yeah.
No, it's true, and like we kind of jokingly said, like, so is he like an international man of mystery? And it's like he might have been an international man of mystery. But you simultaneously find out, about that as you do the actual backstory of the twins and all that. When the whole thing comes to a head, Ned even has to like talk the geek down or like throw him off by like he tells him like I was abandoned by my like father figure as well, and I wrote myself a note when I was 9 years old and said, "Future Ned, never forgive him." And you know what? It never helped. And he's doing this whole he's realizing, right? They use the details of the case just like last time when the guy like bet his daughter's marriage and all that.
Yeah.
And Ned realized about his own father through that that father's actions. It all happened again. Or now he's like, oh well, so like he ends up telling the twins like the full truth because he doesn't want to keep up the false story that
it
Erman
seems like that's
did
what
and all
he
that
would
stuff.
do.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
I like that. I liked Erman, like the great Erman. I liked him.
Erman.
I liked him doing that. It's not that's above and beyond. Obviously, like you disappear their dad, who clearly just ran off, and you like take them in and like teach them shit.
Well, but then
they were very young though. So like I don't even know how they maintained the house, how they did any of that shit.
When he's telling Ned the story, he's saying like, "Trust me, they'll latch on to you forever." It's this whole like, you don't want to be saddled with that. Like he's very brutal, like I said earlier.
And then Ned is brutal himself.
Yeah,
he cuts through it.
I love it. I actually love it. Like he's learning, like to see characters learning lessons and then applying them is like 101 stuff. But it's happening during the case, which is like it turns out that makes all the difference in the world. Having them talk in the pie shop and just magically decide something versus oh God, like this guy and now these people, and I can see a parallel to my own life, and you know what? Maybe I am making the wrong decision all along. Let's change my actions. And Ned like being more of a stand-up guy at like parts here. It's a hostage situation, and Ned like comes into it, right? He's not like he's like goes for it. I'm like, yeah, Ned, do it or whatever.
Get some, Ned.
Get some, Ned. And like the costumes again, the undercover work. I think the dim sum poker game might be the
that's the top.
That's going to be our peak, I think, forever. But
it's
we still
hard to
had
beat the amount of effort gone into that one.
darling, this whole thing or whatever. But yeah, they show up looking the part, and Chuck's wearing all these feathers and all this stuff like that, and they're doing their business.
Yeah. Lady clothing.
Yeah, because that even gets Urman to be like, okay, one magician to another, I'll explain the trick, right? That's his window into the whole thing. You do magic? I dabble. This whole thing, right? Like, okay, that's nice. I like that.
Potentially could have gone on awry with not knowing anything.
Yeah.
I don't dabble.
It turns out.
What did you feel about like they have that magic book they get from the Great Ormond, and
Yes.
it's in the bottom of that fridge, and they cut in that girl who's been dangling the carrot. Like, we'll make photocopies.
Yes.
Like, now they have the same skill set.
She takes the hand glove and puts it on.
I wonder how that would actually like pan out. Like, okay, you do your magic in these states, I'll do my magic in these states because we have the same fucking act.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big book. I assume maybe you can tweak them or adapt them or create a different thing around them or whatever.
Yeah, if you're spinning the narrative and like whatever.
But that actually reminds me of like, not that I care or like follow it too closely, but during this episode, I like literally changed who I thought was the bad guy at different times.
Okay, who are you leaning towards?
Well, for that assistant for a while, and then I shifted away from her.
I thought she always
and then
seemed too
back to
obvious.
her. I know, but like just the way that stuff was coming out.
I didn't have the geek pegged as the bad guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like a Scooby-Doo thing, or be someone we hadn't met yet.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad that it wasn't.
The geek honestly telegraphed them, and usually I feel like I almost dropped the ball where I didn't snap to, and like someone took his magnets. Like it was painted right on the fucking wall that like the magnets were in his stomach, and I didn't.
Well,
snap
yeah.
to that one.
Once they mentioned someone took his magnets, I knew that it was the geek.
Yeah,
right?
I should have.
Okay.
It flashed like as soon as they said it. I'm like, yep, of course. But,
I meant like super early on, like because usually I either say there's no way to know the answer, or I know it's that guy, right? Mm-hmm. And here I actually was like, maybe he faked it himself, or maybe she did do it, because the assistant was obvious, but then something else happened later. I was like, wait, no, maybe it was her. I was just because sometimes they'll do the obvious, then the fake out, and then like the return to the obvious person as like your unexpected twist. So I was actually like along for a ride here, which is unusual for any of this type of show.
Out of my own idiocy, I will say I was on a ride as well.
Yeah, take that ride.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster, my dude.
A ride. But yeah, I did not believe it to be her just because I felt like she had too much to lose being the killer. Yeah. I like that somehow that steel fucking spike was in his brain.
Yeah.
Like that was too fucking big.
People do that stuff.
Not like that.
Not with that. Not with something that wide.
That was like a 1 foot by I don't know, an inch and a half around, more than that. Like
he's been practicing. Brain. He started with thinner things and then worked his way up.
Yeah.
You can put surprisingly long nails in, like into your head. People are crazy.
Yes, nails. Yeah. Yes. But there's also
not like railway spikes.
It's also about the angle. Like they have to be going like this. Like your nose is pinned up because they're going like this way. Like, that was diagonally straight up into his brain. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he lost that part of his brain years ago.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish accident.
So
the band.
At a fish concert, he tried to swallow a javelin. Okay. It all ends though. We all come to a thing. Everyone's doing their different stuff. Stephen Root digs up Chuck's grave, finds it empty because he really wants that pocket watch.
Yes.
And so now we have to figure out.
The grave is empty. She's not there. And I'm wondering, is he going to put it all together? Or is he going to say she faked it, or is he going to think someone got there before him and took everything?
It's going to be a thing, though, but this is like the looming... There's always a looming threat of being found out, and it was Pee Wee Herman, and we abandoned that, and now it's Stephen Root, which is fine.
Yeah.
But we always have to have, like, a side angle, where it's not just the real world finding out that lonely traveler, whatever, Charlotte Charles is that, but it's also a specific person with an agenda.
It's going to be all these people that are laying in the wings that'll come out of season 3. Oh, no!
Yeah, there's that. That's happening.
There was some great line with Emerson and the gun. I remember in the thing where it's like I know Olive is like, "Do you have a gun?" No, I'm gonna go with Emerson. But there was something as he was running and like they were running away. He was like, I've got a gun or some fucking thing that made me laugh, but I didn't write it down.
Oh, I didn't write it down either. You're right though. But he was something like, "You can't run. I have a gun," or something, some weird thing. No, he's great. I love him hating magic, and then like to have Fred Willard appear like under the table, between his legs, and he's like, "What?
I definitely wrote something down
some
on
good
this one.
Some good stuff there. When he calls him out.
Where did I put the rat's ass I could give?
Yeah. That's really early. So like the twins show up to like do some magic stuff. And he's like, "Ooh, where did I put the rat's ass that I could give for that?" No, that's right. I don't have one.
He's like, "I want a hug. I'm not made of hugs."
Yeah.
That was funny. That's some potent kung fu.
Yeah. No, he has a bunch of
Well,
great
that was
lines.
the magic guy.
Okay.
That's some potent kung fu, and she brings him back to death. He's like, oh, I have some magic on my sleeve too. That's some potent kung fu.
That's wonderful. There's like a
Something
wonderful
about that
tone
line
here.
was really good.
The way that different people react to the fact that they're dead. Oh, yeah, I am. Okay. Anyway, just go about their business.
Is this heaven? No. Oh.
No, you're dead. Oh, okay. The other thing that like the sentimental ending that does kind of divert from stuff is we get a whole thing where by proxy of Olive with their like spy. It's the same bee thing from like earlier in like the show.
Yeah.
She has the earpiece and like the microphone on, and she talks to like.
I love a callback of things that you're like, oh, good, you're actually using things we know exist in your world.
Exactly. So like half in the bag, Aunt Lily then talks to Olive as as if she's Chuck.
Yeah.
And they're in the car, and Chuck's got tears rolling down her face, and they're touching the glass together. Their
very
hands
close
and all
to those
that
air
stuff.
holes.
Oh, and I'm worried about
careful.
like, is there a range? Do you have to physically touch? What's the difference?
Physically touch.
But like, any physicist will tell you that touching is like a spectrum. It's not just a yes/no thing. I'm very worried about those holes and
I
seams.
go by the strict Me Too rules on touching.
Okay.
There's another great bit where he's like, well, if you're gonna heckle, you can't come to the magic show. But I have a ticket.
But I have a ticket. Yeah, exactly.
You slide a hand at him.
No, he's great. Yeah. No, his whole like they didn't harp on that too much, which makes it great. It wasn't about Emerson debunking everything and then having one thing that he can't debunk and like very standard stuff.
Yeah.
It was very just like naturally peppered throughout. Because he goes like, if you made him look this way while he did that, and he's got crumbs on his sleeve. Oh, and the whole thing. But they didn't like keep doing that to make it like shitty. They just had it be like a little thing.
Yeah, they gave you a nice treat.
Yeah, it was a little bonus thing. All right, so that ends like that. We've already talked about like Stephen Root's going to be coming back with a vengeance, perhaps.
Presumably.
And
or maybe one episode off. We'll see.
Well, it may not happen immediately, but I am now concerned because I want to find out about his dad and about this resolution.
These are things. Because what episode is this? This is 6.
This is 6. We have a fair amount. We have 6 more episodes.
But it's 6 is
that's not a lot.
It's a number where you're like okay, that is enough to cover everything. But if you dawdle at all, it's not.
Like it's enough to cover everything. If you knew that you had to cover it within those 6, and you have no chance to cover it.
If you weren't stretching out to be a 7-season show.
Man, yep. This is what's the opposite of a pep talk? Because that's what you're just giving me right now.
A fuck up.
Oh God, a fuck talk. Yeah. No, not that. Okay.
But yeah,
fingers crossed.
So fingers crossed that we're gonna see and hear everything we want to see and hear. But that was everything that happened this episode. Let us know. Tell us what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.